We have not forgotten about you 7 months after the fire, and folks are still working hard. We still have years and years of recovery and rebuilding to do. So we got to make sure that these resources and organizations and businesses that have been doing the work get highlighted so you can know where they are, know what they're doing. When we were in the thick of things, when it was still burning and trying to get people, placed in housing and trying to figure out what to make of all of it, everybody pulled together. That's when you really realize how big our community is and who's doing what. And my dear friend, Denise Williams, called me, she texted me in the middle of, I was on the air and I was giving out information, and she texted me and she gave me some wonderful information about an organization that is doing the work, that has been doing the work for quite some time. Denise is here today and she's bringing them here so our family, the whole family, can know what other parts of the family are doing. Well, good morning, Denise.
Well, good morning, Ade.
How are you?
I'm good.
You grew up in Altadena.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
And my kids. So,
yeah.
Born and raised.
That's home for you.
Yes, it is.
How has that fire affected you guys?
It has affected the entire community, as you, I'm sure, have heard. And it's affected family, has affected friends, and so our organization, we piped in the night before because we noticed that the fires were taking a hold of some of the convalescent homes and things like that. So that's when I called Mr. Mark Watterson, who is the CEO of Convalescent Aid Society, and he can take it from here.
Well, I tell you what, I'm telling you, I'm glad that everybody takes a part of it. And Mr. Watterson, thank you so much for what you do with the Convalescent Aid Society. He is not new to the game, but he is true to the game. This organization has been around since 1923. I thought, may I call you Mark?
You may.
Mark,
yes.
I thought it was a misprint.
We've been around a while. Yeah, we've been around a while.
Tell me a little bit about Convalescent Aid Society.
So our mission's pretty simple. We provide medical equipment free of charge to people, and they can keep it as long as they need it.
Wow.
So everything from hospital beds to wheelchairs to walkers, tub transfer benches, things that help with mobility or toileting things. They're not sexy items at all.
Right,
but
right.
when you need,
But they're,
when you need something,
they're
when you need
expensive
something,
too. Those are expensive,
for sure.
especially. And we didn't really think, because so much was going on. We didn't really understand that those things were going to be needed as well.
Yeah, we ran into so we provide this equipment and we've been doing it, like you said, for 100 years. But in the immediacy of the fire, the people who had to evacuate, even if they didn't lose their home, they had to get out in a minute's notice, and they weren't able to take items with them that they needed in order to function. So we responded as quickly as we could to make sure that people could get stuff, even if it was just very, very temporary, just to exist.
Well, you have a team doing some amazing work over there. I'm sure they're listening. Hello, everybody over there. Speaking of part of your team, who did you bring with us today?
So next to me is Quinn Bebb, and she is our development coordinator, so she helps with our fundraising. So I'd like to have her here. And she's a fairly new hire. In fact, you started after the fires, correct?
Just after.
Boy, you jumped in and you had to go to work.
Yes.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about what is it that we can do as a community to help support you? Because a lot of these organizations, such as yourself, we didn't know about them. You don't know about something until you need it. And then when someone steps in and fills in the gap, it's like, oh my God, thank God they're here. But to be around for 100 years, you've got to have some people helping out, right?
Yeah, you're exactly right. We don't ask for any insurance information. We don't have ask for any financial requirements. We just ask that people go online, apply for the equipment, and they can borrow it as long as they like. So both of my parents were had cancer twice and were on home hospice twice. So I worked with Convalescent Aid Society and used their services for 15 years before. Wow. So after they passed, I jumped on board. So the best way that people can help us is we get by just on donations from the public. We don't take any government funding. So
Wow.
kind of how we do it.
You can set your own rules when you do it like that.
Yes,
Especially
yes.
in this administration. You've got to set your own rules.
We've been very lucky compared to other nonprofits that
Yeah.
are really struggling because of all the changes.
Yeah, a lot of nonprofits losing their funding. You guys have been able to sustain for 100 years. No insurance requirements, nothing?
No insurance. And as Quinn mentioned, we don't, the government funding thing's an interesting, because as you're kind of alluding to, everything's up in the air right now with the government, and it doesn't matter. We're outside of that ecosystem completely. So whatever's going to go on from here for the next few years, we're still going to be around.
You guys will be around for the next 100 years or more.
Which we're grateful for.
Okay, so now I know this is, you said for individuals. What about nursing homes that were lost there in those areas? Have you been able to assist in that area, or is that probably a lot?
Yeah, we provide equipment to people in their homes, but we also provide equipment to people who are in long-term care facilities, because oftentimes they don't provide the equipment that is specific to a patient's need. So yes, we do. If you need equipment and you live in our area, we'll provide it.
I love that. I love that. And you can keep it as long as you like.
As long as you need.
I cannot imagine, what kind of equipment that was needed what that looked like in 1923 compared to now. Remember?
We actually have a wheelchair, and it's made of wood. What year is it from, Mark?
It's probably like the 40s or something. It's like
Wow.
wood and wicker. It's like weaved.
So someone actually returned it.
Exactly. Yeah. Who knows how long they had it? Yeah.
So how much of this equipment does not make it back to you? And what do you have in place of that?
Yeah. So, we kind of pride ourselves on making it easy to get the equipment.
Yeah.
But in return, we ask that people bring things back. And we get over 90% of our equipment back.
Wow.
Which is pretty
90%.
incredible. And I'll tell you the reason why that happens is we do have a limited service area. So we don't cover all of Los Angeles or all of Southern California. We are in the San Gabriel and San Fernando valleys.
Wow. Just where you needed to be with this fire.
For the fires. But
yeah.
because we're hyper local, it's easy for people to return stuff because they don't have to drive a long distance.
Any ideas or plans to expand this 100-year company?
I mean, we've been around 100 years, and we're going to hopefully be around for 100 more. And part of that, I think, trajectory looks like us moving into new communities.
And maybe that's what your new director here is looking at.
That's what Quinn's nodding her head. Yeah.
Quinn is going to move us in that direction.
That's the idea. No pressure, though.
No pressure. Well, I tell you what, we certainly appreciate everything that you're doing. Please tell me, how can we get in touch with you? How can we find out more about your organization?
You can go to our website, www.cas1.org.
CAS, like Convalescent Aid Society, the number 1.org, CAS.
Yes, or you can call us.
Yeah, 626-793-1696.
I love it. I love it. We're going to have all this information on our website. Thank you all for coming in. We cannot tell you.
Having us. Yeah,
we cannot tell you for how much we thank you for the work that you've done with the fires, but the work you've done over the last 100 years that we didn't know about, that you were there. We'll put it more on our website, family. It's a day Lamar, Radio Free, 102.3 KJLH. Our Altadena 7 months after the Eaton fire, helping those survivors and affected by the fire get the resources and information they need. Again, big thank you to Mark Watterson coming in, the executive director, chief executive director of 100 Convalescent Society, Aid Society, 100 years in business. Wow.
That's amazing.
Isn't that amazing? A blessing, right? 100 years to be in this moment, needed right now, still needed. Wow. Thank you so much.
I'm trying to make it to 40.
Come on now. You're listening to the voice of Mr. Brandon Lamar. He's the NAACP president there, the Pasadena chapter. Been an amazing contributor to KJLH and sharing with our family. Brandon, cannot thank you enough for answering the call, Leadership One, when you shared your story on how it all came about, and answering the call of KJLH and coming in and sharing with the family. Because, as we said last time you were here, we're in this together.
Yeah.
We're family.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is important. I think it's important for the stories to continue to be told. when the fires first happened, everybody was there, but now we're looking around like, okay, where's the real community?
Yeah, that's
so this
where
is important.
Chris Malone, our program director, said, we've got to make sure they know that KJLH is still there. All these wonderful people are still behind them, and we've got to keep getting that information out. You brought with you a young lady who really affected by fire, really felt the devastation of it. And in the midst of all of that, you would think that like, oh, let me worry about me. Let me see what's going on with my family. She has the heart to turn around and still help others trying to find a place. Yeah. And I want, do you want to do the formal introduction? She did tell me how to pronounce her name, so I want to show off a little bit.
Yes, please.
This is Lisa Odigie, and she is the displacement director for Day One. Yes. Welcome.
Hello. Thank you so much. I appreciate your kind words. I think the running thing is having to keep telling the story. Yeah. And people are like, I'm sorry, you have to say it again. But I'm like, you know what? This is now my story. This is actually, who knew that this would be part of my story? And when our house burned down, I want to say the very next day I contacted the executive director at Day One. I used to work there many years ago, and I left, did some other work, actually in real estate. And then after losing our home, all I saw was the community and what we were all going to need. And just thinking about my parents, I'm like, how are they going to navigate all of this? My mom retired 2 days before we lost the house. And we had all these plans for this year, and everything changed. And just looking at how hard it was going to be for them, I'm like, I have to help. I have to help. So I reached back out to Christy. I'm like, Christy, I want to come back to Day One. I have an idea of how I can tie in my real estate and my housing expertise and work with the community back in community organizing in the way that we've done for so many years. Yeah. And it's just like you said, the timing on everything, this is such a full circle moment for a lot of us.
And I think it shows the real resilience of our community, right? Our community has dealt with a disaster, but it's people that literally have lost their homes that is coming back to serve their community and give into their community. And I think this is the resilience of our community, not just our community, but of our people as well. This happens to us over and over again, and we continue to rise up.
Absolutely. And I love that we're able to connect everyone, because some of these folks, a lot of these folks have been doing this work in the trenches silently. You don't know about it unless you know somebody know. And for us to now openly have this network of people, and Brandon, that's where you come in of just being able to give us these people that are just amazing at what they do and selfless in coming in. Tell me a little bit about Day One and what those services are that you're able to help with those affected.
Yeah, so Day One actually started in 1987. So we've been serving the Pasadena, Altadena, Sierra Madre community for almost 40 years. And our focus is public health and building vibrant, healthy communities. So when it comes to what that looks like, it evolves based on community need. So all of our programs have always been responsive to what the community needs at the time. And so in response to the fires and coming back as the anti-displacement director, the first thing is facilitating a housing collaborative network. At this point, we have about 180 partners who engage on a weekly basis. I have a call every Monday, and we talk about the really emergent needs. First being the fact that we still have hundreds of families who are still unhoused. And the issues that we're finding existed before the fires, and so we're trying to create solutions that just never existed. So we are fighting an uphill battle, but that's 180 folks that are dedicated and committed to finding a solution as a group. The next part is we offer a weekly relief shop, so families can come and get really essentials and everything that they need. And our shop operates on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We also have a housing resource guide. So we have our case management team. It's actually a volunteer, again, speaking to the community. She has been helping us with our case management. And the goal for us is to try to connect our families to all of the different resources that exist in the community as it relates to housing and moving into permanent stability. So we have our resource guide. It's called the Dena Resource Guide. And on there, you can find all of our different community resources. Anything everything we find, we put it on this guide so you can go and find your information. We also have over 200 housing list of available housing opportunities. So as we find them, we share them out with our network, and then we also share them with the community. We also put on events. So we've been doing an event called the Dena Home Market, which really is supposed to establish a sense of home for our community, a place to just come back to. And we're also doing a rebuild trade show. And really for that, it's expanding to a hub, being really just a community hub of how we can answer the community's questions about rebuilding and bring in the resources and continued education, because we're learning that even 6 months down the line, we got experts.
Yeah.
And then we have our, our self-proclaimed experts.
Well, I was just going to say, sister. I was just going to say.
So
it is lovely to have folks that have vetted.
Yes. And that's what we really, we pride ourselves in with this event, is that it was a true collaborative effort.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just us. It was neighbors. It's people who have also lost their homes. So we're vetting the
Everyone's
people that
vested
we're
into
bringing
it.
in.
Yeah.
Everyone is invested in making sure that it's not predatory in what we're doing.
Right.
And so I'm like, is that it? Is that it? Is that all we're doing?
No, let me tell you, that there in itself is a mouthful. I know so many people that were looking for housing, and because they didn't have organizations, they ended up way away from the community. And now they're having to find their way back into their jobs every day. If they've already found housing and they're way, way out, can they reach out to you guys and try to get closer to?
Absolutely. One of our goals and what we know about displacement is that the further away a family is displaced, the less likely it is that they return. So for us, looking long term, we have to think about scalability of affordable housing. It's not going to just exist in Altadena. We just don't have enough space to house everybody again in the way that it was. Yeah. So this has to be an actual, to me, a San Gabriel Valley-wide approach to creating affordable housing. So one of the projects and one of the initiatives that we're really standing behind is adaptive reuse, which is essentially just converting empty and underutilized buildings into affordable housing. You can convert them into anything, but for us, they should be converted into housing. And I drive around. I'm sure you drive around. You see an empty building, and you're like, why can't they just turn this into an apartment building? Yeah. That's what these policies are for. It's policy and incentives and money. Policy, incentives, and money. Those are the three things that we need. And I would say we have those three things now. Yeah. We have the money coming in. We have, I would say, interested and engaged community members who want to move these things forward. So now I think it's just about connecting the dots.
The actions.
The actions. Family, we're going to take a quick break here and come back. We are joined with Brandon Lamar, the president of the NAACP Pasadena chapter. He's been so crucial in getting these people. And I love it because one of the first things I asked him when he told me he was bringing you Lisa Odigie. You see, I got that. If you saw her name is spelled, you'll understand why. I'm like, okay, how do you spell this? How do you say this? Was the first thing I said, is it free? Is it free to?
Yes.
And I should have known because if you're with Brandon, he's going to make sure it's for the community.
Every time.
100%.
Let's take a quick break here. We'll be back right here with Altadena 7, the series. It's a day Lamar on KJLH. Altadena 7 continuing with Brandon Lamar, president of NAACP chapter in Pasadena. And then Lisa Odigie, the displacement director for Day One. Day One a day, you asked me, what is that? Well, she's been excellent in explaining that they've been helping people find housing, helping them figure out their rebuilding process. They've got so many resources. I know you probably listened and thought, wow, where do I start? How do they get in touch with you, Lisa, to get started in the process?
Yeah, so you can go to our website, goday1.org. We also have some resource guides that are easily available. If you're on Instagram, you can go to us on Instagram, day1do. And we have a link that goes directly to our resource guide. It's a bit.ly link, so bit.ly/Dena Home. We got all that.
Let me tell you something, Lisa. That brings me to when you started going.
I know, into the what's a bit.ly? What's a bit.ly, girl?
Let me tell you, that goes into the conversation we were having off camera, and we were talking about how there are so many layers to getting this information out because it is multi-generational people that you're going to have to try to disseminate this information to.
Yes.
And it's so important that you are able to speak to our more seasoned homeowners and those that are affected in the community to understand some of the ways that are now going to be utilized in rebuilding.
And making it accessible to them as well. Like I tested with my father. It's like, hey, scan this QR code. And my dad has a flip phone, so he can't scan anything.
Oh, no, poor dad.
But it's also making it accessible for our seniors, because 65% of seniors in Altadena lost their homes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I think the most effective approach for reaching our seniors and, you know, those who may not be technologically advanced is to meet them where they're at.
Yeah.
So we do a lot of printing.
Yes.
You know, we still print everything out. And again, going back to the volunteers, the folks that are actually taking this stuff over to the senior centers and where we know they're going to be. So there's weekly luncheons that happen throughout the community at some of our churches.
I love that.
So getting the information directly to the churches is also really helpful. And I would say the churches have really been a great hub, as we already know.
Yes, absolutely.
For information sharing. And so that really is how we empower information sharing.
Well, I know when you're talking to some of those seniors, you're going to have some patience, and they got to have a little patience with you guys.
Yes, 100%. And, you know, that's part of the case management work that comes in. And we are now all entering into being case managers and not really understanding what that all entails, but really it's hand-holding.
Yeah.
And it's really walking people through a phone call. And
While you're
sitting there
also
with them
walking through your own parents
while you're
too.
still doing this, you know. So it's
it's almost like you're adopting parent. You're adopting some people to help them, and that's what really community is about. Seeing where there's a need and filling in the gap, and the system is just does not serve our seniors. Even we're not even just talking about this, the healthcare system, just any of the systems. With time, how things are changing with technology. It's leaving our seniors alone and left out. And so it's so important.
Been harder for them to even find housing, right? Talking about housing, you have to make 3 and 4 times the rent or what they're asking for the rent to even qualify. You have to have a 720 credit score. You haven't worked in 25 years because you've been retired. And so even within our senior population, it's harder to even find them housing for themselves. That this home that they have worked so hard to get, now they have to find somewhere else to be during this time that they just don't qualify for.
I can't imagine it.
And we've even tried reaching out to, you know, senior housing services, and everything is full.
Yeah.
So it's wait list, everything.
Wow. We continue, family. We are years and years away from being to something of a good standing, a good place. But it's so good to hear wonderful people that are stepping in and filling in, even in their own trials and tribulations. How are your parents and you doing? How's everybody with you?
I would say it goes in waves. Like grief does. Some days are better than others. I think right now, like for my parents and for many, it's just a lot of uncertainty. It still feels very surreal, and it's still very hard to make any decisions because we don't really know what's what right now, especially in terms of costs and rebuilding. Everyone asks, are your parents rebuilding? How's insurance treating them? What's going on? And ultimately, it's like we're kind of playing the waiting game because we don't really know. We're getting quotes. Some people are like, well, what's the point in rebuilding if it's going to cost me $1 million?
Right, because they're not going to give you that.
They're not going to give you that. You know, so right now there still is quite a bit of uncertainty, which is making it hard for folks to move forward.
Wow.
So, yeah.
You already have that on your back, and then you're putting others on. I tell you, I love people that serve. I love people that have the heart to do it. There are so many people when things were happening wanting to rush in and do what they can. But as Brandon shared with us yesterday, sometimes we have good intentions, but we can cause a lot of harm if we don't really connect with people that kind of know. And so it's so good that we're able to have people in like you and Brandon that are talking to the residents and knowing exactly what's needed and can take those resources and things and move them where they need to be. When people are rebuilding. Let's talk about that a minute. I had so many people. Oh, I'm a contractor. Oh, I can do this. I can do that.
Yeah.
And contractors, that's a marriage for a while. You know, you guys are married, and there was no way I really wanted to endorse, because if they hear it on the radio, they feel like we endorse it. But that's not exactly how that happens, family. But how are you able to vet, and how can people get to the people that you vetted for them?
So what we did was partnership. Partner with community and partner with industry professionals. So one, we always have like the AIA, which is the Architects Institutional Association, and they have guidance on what you should do, what questions you should ask when you're looking to hire an architect or a contractor, the Building Industry Association. So we go to the professionals and ask them, what is the guidance that you put out there that's industry vetted on how a resident should move forward in making decisions. The next part is community vetting. So we brought in vendors that were already working with, let's say, 6, 7 to 10 neighbors already. And these are folks that have already gone through interview processes, and groups of neighbors are already going to work with them. Why that's important is because cost and time is going to be against us in this process. And so what we know will help us move forward collectively is if we work together. So contractors can split costs amongst each other. If they work together, they can split costs on materials are cheaper when we buy in bulk. So there's opportunity for us to reduce the cost for our community, but it has to be done in a collaborative way. So the folks we brought in, again, vetted by other neighbors, or they have track record of doing this work specifically related to disasters. That was also important, because one thing we know, we would love to rebuild Altadena exactly as it was before. That's just not going to be realistic, and we have to also face some realities of what it's going to look like. Some houses are not going to be the architectural cutesy Spanish home or James Cottage or whatever you had before. It may not be that. We have to be okay with that because we don't want to demonize our neighbors who couldn't afford to do something like that, right? But we do want to make sure our families can be housed. That's important too. So we're bringing in partners who have done disaster construction work, who can then bring in their expertise of doing other disasters and working in communities like this. But then what we like is that they're partnering with our local architects and with our neighbors to make sure their builds blend in with the desired look of the community as well.
Let me tell you, in order to find people like that, excuse me, they have to have the heart to want to be a part of that kind of collaboration. They have to understand that you ain't gonna get rich on this one. We need you to take this one for the team and for the good of the community. And so if you're that type of individual with an organization, or you want to help in some way, give us again, how can they get in touch with you and be a part maybe of your collaborative team that you have?
So for the rebuild specifically, they can just reach out to me directly. We are going to continue to do these events. We'll probably host them quarterly, and then in between do workshops and panels with our specific industry experts. So they can just reach out to me directly, lisa@goday1.org. And we can put them into our database and then actually send them the application to get into the trade show. But again, we have to vet first. Like everyone who applies does not just get it. And I will say, we don't even bring a lot of big builders in either for that reason, because we still, even looking at track record, we still try to look at integrity as well. So.
And that's the part where we come in at too, as an organization. We come in at, what do you want? What are you trying to get from our community? Especially those contractors that are not from our community.
Well, we're going to take a quick break here and come back. We're going to give all their information so you don't miss not one thing. It's Odigie Lamar here with our Altadena series right here on KJLH. Well, it's a family affair. I love that you left that in there, Bo. Well, I tell you what, this hour brought to you by the SOS Lawyer. Been in an accident, don't stress. Give them a call at 877-SOS-SOS-1. We have with us, joining us once again, Brandon Lamar. He is the president of the NAACP chapter there in Pasadena. As we continue our Altadena 7 series, you can reach Brandon, Project Passion Inc. bdlamar.com.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah, or you can check him out on Instagram, bdlamar.com. He has been so instrumental in making sure we stay
Did she say
informed.
.com?
She did.
She did.
It's all right.
Oh, is it? Oh, what is it?
Instagram is
.org?
BD Lamar.
Oh my gosh, why did I put that .com on there?
It's all right.
Somebody better grab that.
We just
Somebody
talked about merging generations.
We actually better. Somebody ought to grab that.
Yeah.
You should.
Let me
That'll
put
work.
that. No, let me write that down so I can do my own name like that before somebody gets it. Wait a minute. Let me send somebody on that. Let me tell you, we have been getting so much information, and when you bring wonderful people like Lisa Odigie, displacement director for One Day, you have just been a blessing to us. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Now, when I'm in here, family, and I got to tell you, she looks like she's 16. She's got them good genes. But she is a young woman that's doing the work. And we were talking about how this is multi-generational work that you guys are having to, speak to those that are young at heart. And, they're used to running it. No, we do it like this, we do it like that. Brandon, you and Lisa both, how are you handling that tug of war a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, it's challenging, but it's also something that's worth it, right? It's worth us merging generations to make sure that we are bringing solutions to our most complex needs, right? And that's something that we're working with in Altadena. It's literally bringing together those Black voices, Black organizers, no matter what generation that you in, so that we can literally come up with a comprehensive plan for our community, for Altadena and Pasadena. At the end of the day, you can meet with every other single group and they have a plan of what they want. We want more of our people in government. We want more of our people to get more jobs or housing. And this is what we want for the Black community of Pasadena, Altadena, to really have that plan of making sure that we get Black folk to rebuild, that we get Black people to stay in our community. But not only that, but we also get them jobs, right? Sustainable jobs, that you're not just working 6 months and then you're out. These are sustainable jobs, and these are conversations that we have to have as a people on how do we move forward together. It's also about having those hard living room conversations too, right? About why we can't work together, or what's happening. And so it's really building out of what that is, and those are things that we're working on in this current moment.
This has been such a tragedy for this community, for all of us, just as a people, but it is a reset, a time where we can figure it all out. We're not saying the wisdom is needed, but they really need to understand that leadership kind of, you raised them up. As a child should go. So trust it.
To always be seen as the teens in the project, and you're like, well, I'm almost 40, so I'm wondering when this shifts. When does the perspective shift?
Yeah.
But I'm a creative visionary. I like to think in an innovative way.
Right.
And all innovation comes from a multi-sector approach. You have to look at solution making from so many different ways. And the only way this will work for us together is to accept everyone's approach and say, cool, that's the piece that you
bring to the table.
That's what you bring to the table. But we all don't have to move and walk and talk and really respond in the same way. We just need to be able to cohesively put all those pieces together.
We're bringing our own ingredients to this cake that we're making.
Still cake. We're just gonna have a little more spice. And you gotta move with the times of it. And we really appreciate it. I know quickly we're getting ready to get out of here. You have a conference, a press conference you guys are doing soon.
Yeah, we're doing a press conference on next week. You can get all the information on Project Passion, inc.com, and it's really to bring in the local contractors in our community. It is making sure that we get local contractors to get these jobs in rebuilding Altadena, because it is also our local contractors that is going to hire our local people from our community. We can't just rebuild and have everybody rebuild in our community, but we have to make sure that our community is rebuilding our community. That is the part of that press conference.
All right, family. Look, we're going to have to end here, but all of their contact information will be on our website. So much is going on in that community. Thank you both for what you do. Thank you for having grace and patience with everybody there, because they're still dealing with trauma. They're still dealing with all of that. So thank you so much. This last hour brought to you by the law offices of Homo Malayam. If you've been involved in a car accident or injured, give her office a call. 310-207-9009. No recovery, no fee. Altadena series, a day Lamar on KJLH.